What is up, guys? We're back with another video, and today we're checking out this case right here, which is the brand new Fractal Design Terra. So let's go ahead and take a look. As we take a first look at the case here, it has that sort of external GPU enclosure look. That's sort of the form factor that you are going to find when it comes to these smaller mini ITX cases. Now we have the silver version here. It's also going to come in a graphite as well as a jade color. Now this case is small. It's actually the smallest PC case that I've personally ever reviewed. It has an overall footprint of 10.6 liters, and I'll go ahead and put the official dimensions, like I always do right here. Now to give you an idea of the size, here it is next to a Cooler Master case that we recently reviewed that has a footprint of 18.3 liters. When you pick the case up, you'll notice it is extremely light. The case only weighs in at 6.83 pounds. This is because Fractal Design has gone with an aluminum exterior with the front and back panels being 8mm thick anodized aluminum. The front of the case really shows off that anodized aluminum as it's very plain except for the strip of real walnut wood at the bottom. Embedded in this walnut section is a large power button, USB 3.0 Type A port, and a USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type C port. Both side panels on the case are pretty much identical, although the left one does have a small Fractal Design logo on it. These panels feature full-length vents for direct access to air outside the case. They also don't have any type of mesh, so you have unmitigated airflow throughout the case. The top of the case has a similar aluminum panel with the full-length vents without any type of mesh. Towards the end of the top of the panel is a fake leather strap that allows you to easily remove the panel. The back of the case has an open design. On one side, you have your motherboard mount, and on the other, you have your graphics card mount as well as a power connection. The graphics card mount is slotted for 2 slots, but you'll be able to fit a larger card. More on that in just a bit. The bottom section of the case is completely ventilated, and there are 4 small feet that lift the case up off the ground. Getting inside this case is extremely easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. It is really, really easy. So all you do is each panel is designed exactly the same, and you just pull on them from the center and the panel will open up just like this. Now, if you wanted to just like switch out a cable or you need to check on something, you can just leave the panel like this. Like I said, this will stay in place. But if you needed to fully remove the panel, all you have to do is just press this button and that actually releases the panel. It's really that easy. Now to put it back on, you just line up this notch on this side, make sure you press your button in, and then just kind of go like this, and the panel will go right back in. Like I said, extremely easy to do. Now with the top, same thing. So at the top, we have our fake leather strap. We just pull on it, and it opens just like that. Like I said, we can go ahead and put it back on. Super, super simple. Now, when you do open the top up, you will notice that we have a sort of sandwich design inside the case. Having a sandwich design basically means that on one side, you'll have your motherboard and power supply, and on the other side, you'll have your graphics card. So as we take a look inside, on the left side, we have our graphics card mount, which supports graphics cards as long as 322 millimeters. Fractal Design has pre-installed a PCI Express 4.0 riser with its cables very creatively routed to not get in the way of anything. Moving over to the right side, you have your motherboard and power supply mounts. As expected, as far as motherboard support, you can only do mini ITX motherboards, and for your power supply, you can do SFX and SFXL units. Looking at the bottom interior of the case, you can install either a 120mm cooling fan or 2.5-inch SSD in the bottom of the case towards the front. If you plan to use an SFXL power supply, you can't install a fan or a drive here. On the inside of the case towards the front, Fractal Design has actually built in Velcro straps to the front, which are actually made to hold a 2.5-inch SSD. We can also see how Fractal Design has routed the power cable from the back of the case up and around so you can easily connect it to your power supply. The center spine part of the case as well as the bottom are made of steel. Now the really cool thing about the spine is that it is adjustable. So by removing screws on the top part of the case as well as the bottom, you can actually adjust if you want more space for the graphics card section or for the motherboard section. Fractal Design has labeled the adjustments on the case and has provided clearances for both graphics cards and CPU coolers in their documentation. For those wondering, in the max CPU configuration, you can fit a 75mm tall CPU cooler. When it comes to GPU width clearances, this actually depends on the height of your graphics card, and you can see on the diagram on the screen, what is actually going to fit here and the max clearances. Now with the max clearances, this means that the Terra would actually support a Founders Edition of the RTX 4090 in the max GPU config. It's also possible to install a 120mm radiator in the case in the GPU section. Now this is going to limit the size of the graphics card you can install to a max length of only 200mm. When it comes to testing, here's a full breakdown of our test system. Now we're going to be running tests on both our CPU as well as our GPU. As we come to the end here, I have to say, when I get requests to review mini ITX cases, a lot of times I do turn them down because I just cringe at the thought of doing a mini ITX install. They're always just a pain in the ass. You don't have enough room to work around in. And when I got this case and I saw how small it was, I was a bit worried. But I think that's one of the best things about this case is that it, again, is the smallest case that I've ever reviewed, yet it's one of the easiest installations that I've ever had on a mini ITX system. The main reason, of course, is because you can take all of the panels off, and it's because how the case is designed, right, with that center spine, allowing you to easily, install your power supply and your motherboard on one side and then your graphics card on the other side. Installation was probably the best part about this because, like I said, it was the thing that I was most worried about. So again, having awesome installation is just like the number one thing I like about this. But then it comes down to size. Like I said, this is the smallest case that I've ever reviewed. 10.6 liter case. I mean, this thing is tiny, yet you can still fit a full-size graphics card inside, SFX or SFXL power supplies in here. It is just an awesome little system that you can build in here. And it's so small that you could, I have a backpack that this can fit in, which is just awesome, I think, for how small it is. It's also really quality made, right? You have the all aluminum exterior, which just looks awesome. Steel interior, of course, you have the walnut on the front, which I think a lot of people are gonna like. So if you are looking for a small, very, very small mini ITX system that's easy to build in, this is a case that I can definitely recommend. Now, Fractal Design will be selling this for $179.99. That's all the colorways that they are gonna offer with it. So if you do have any questions about this case, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below, and go ahead and hit that thumbs up if you did enjoy this video. We'll see you guys in the next one.